So I'm going to slow the plane down, 178. Below 178, gears coming down.
Feels like we just stopped.
I just pulled the power to idle.
Literally feels like we're just stopping. This
we're
is
just
weird.
kind of slowing down. We're still doing 150 knots. Below 122.
It's the back
flaps
freaking
are coming
out.
down.
We're going to die, just so you're all fully aware.
We are not going to die. Gears down, flaps down. All that stuff looks good. So what I'm doing is I'm setting up and I'm trimming for slow flight. So we're going to fly slow here. I'm just going to show you some of the flight characteristics of an airplane, which is kind of cool. And I'll probably...
Airspeed.
So there we go, 70 knots. So we can do a couple things here. So that's our stall horn. So it was 70 knots. I mean, it's saying we're about to stall. We're a few knots away from stalling. This is what it usually sounds like on landing.
Stall.
And a stall is basically when we lose lift. So I'm
Stall.
actually going to stall the plane here in a second. So here
Airspeed. Stall.
so you can see we're 70 knots. This is how we get this slow and not lose our lift over the wings. The lady's a little bit annoying.
She's freaking me out.
Yeah, but like we still haven't even we still haven't even broken a stall. I can't barely even stall this plane. So it's like 66 knots. We're gonna land at like 85. She's just getting too annoying for me. Like I can't even stall this plane. I'm gonna get us back to like 73 knots. She stopped standing. Okay. I'm not stalling. All right. So 75 knots. She probably won't yell at us. In the military, we call her the. I'm going to keep this PG, but the being Betty. So
is it the same voice on every plane?
Yeah, similar. Yeah, actually, pretty close. Yeah, her name's Betty, and she is a bee. So that's what we call it. So when you hear that, you'd react to it and do something. I mean, 10 knots. I had 10 knots to say. So what happens is you get task saturated, like we talked about before. You get behind, and you start stalling the airplane, and then you stall the airplane. You put a yaw, it turns into a spin, and it takes thousands of feet to get out of that. So a stall happened low to the ground. A lot of people, when they're turning to final, they get slow, start reaching for the runway, pull back, stall with a roll, and that's how they're rolling over and falling into the ground. So they get task saturated, talking on the radios, turning, looking. They're slow. Their power's out. They're not scanning, and that's what happens. So here's slow flight, and you can take the controls for a little bit. So that's slow flight. If you pull the nose back, you're gonna hear this woman again. But there's 75 knots. Go ahead and turn right.
Airspeed.
You see how much how much turn has to happen for us to do that? Okay, I'm gonna take controls because we might actually stall in a turn like that. So okay, so what I want to show you is the control manipulation that you're doing when we're fast. Watch this. I can move the controls all the way forward and back, and we don't even really move. Same thing like this. We're not even rolling. So this is all the lift that happens over the wings. When we're fast. If I did that when we're going fast, we would roll upside down, or we would pitch way nose down. So there you go. That is slow flight. And flaps are coming up to takeoff. I'm going to get us some speed. Here we go. I'm going to try to get some speed. And I'm going to show you what a couple G's feels like. So a little bit like a roller coaster at Six Flags maybe. I won't get too crazy. We're not going to do a loop. But normally we do a loop. We do 220. I drop the nose, get 220 knots. And if we were going to do a loop, we'd pull about 4.5 G's on the front. It would get light at the top, and then we'd have 4.5 G's at the bottom. But we need to get up to 220, and it'd be like this. So you feel that?
Oh, yeah.
You feel that? So this is it's like a roller coaster, right, in the beginning. A couple times the force of gravity. And then this is the opposite.
Yeah.
You feel okay? So that's the opposite, and that's a little bit of light G, 0 G. So you would see up, on a space station or something like that where you don't have gravity, but you'd be floating like that. So that's a way that you could see 0, and then there's negative G, which is probably my least favorite thing in the world. We're not going to do it. You got to go inverted to get negative G, and then I got to push, and it's like weight pulling you down. It's one of the worst feelings. It gets people the most sick that I've seen ever flying. So I try not to do negative G with anybody.
G stand for gravity, or is G stand for?
Yeah, G is the force of gravity. So 9.8 meters per second squared is the force of gravity. And so if you're at 1.5 G, you're 1.5 times the force of gravity. 2 G's, double the force. You're putting 7 G's. Your face is melting off. You can't lift your arms, and you can't sustain it for very long periods of time. The blood flows out of your brain. You pass out. So this is where people die in jets and things like that. It's pulling too many G's. Most I've ever pulled about 7.5 G's, and not for a very long period of time. The Blue Angels fly with no G suits at all, and they're pulling this on a regular basis, sustained 6 G's in turns and stuff. Unbelievable. Really good cardiovascular strength. because it's all in breathing. We do this hic maneuver where it's like, and you're constantly like closing your glottis and just keeping all, and you're flexing your legs, you're keeping everything down, like keeping the blood in your brain, and all the muscles in your abs and your legs are like holding the blood there so it doesn't drain out of your body. So, because really what happens is you start losing color, your vision, once you start losing blood to your brain and your eyes, you start losing color and everything becomes gray, and so you'll gray out, and then you'll black out. And I've had plenty of people black out with me, some in like just pulling 2 Gs, like a little bit more than what we just did, because they went out like drinking the night before, dehydrated, weren't doing their G pull, stuff like that. We're doing a G warm one day where we like warm up on some Gs, like 2 Gs, how you feeling good? 3 Gs, how you feeling good? 4 Gs. I went to 2 Gs, this dude passed out in the front. I was like, we're going home, knock it off. It was two aircraft in formation. We were going to do cruise form chase flight, where we're doing aerobatic maneuvers in 2 planes next to each other, like really close, really fun. And he's getting ready to go fly jets, so we're training him to go be a jet pilot. And he passed out, and we just went home, like bugged out. Hey, buddy, we're going home. And what'd you do last night? He's like, I went out drinking. What time did you get home? Yeah, did you drink any water this morning? You had breakfast? No. Bad stuff. So that's what it's like.